St Finbarr's first task was to rid his community of a fearsome monster which lived in the River Lee. This beast had plagued the people of Southern Ireland for generations. It devoured local livestock, it carried off small children, and it would savage any man who crossed its path. St Finbarr put his trust in God and his faith, and he approached with horror unarmed. The animal was impressed by Finbarr's courage, yet it stood its ground. It was not prepared to move, and although St Finbarr made a variety of attempts to encourage the monster to leave the River Lee, it stood there. One day, St Finbarr tried a new tactic. He approached the beast slowly and calmly, and decided to try and tame the creature. Having won the beast's trust, Finbarr was able to trick it, drive it out to sea, and its doom. There's another story, which serves to illustrate what a remarkable man St Finbarr really was. It was on a summer's day in 642, or thereabouts. The dating is imprecise, we don't really know, but anyway. It was in these woods near Guggenbarra, where St Finbarr was living at the time. Just went for a stroll on a summer's afternoon. He was set upon by a gang of fierce robbers. The two robbers converted and became pillars of the church which St Finbarr founded in Cork. It was a church which quickly grew. The robbers spread the word to the rest of their tribe. St Finbarr founded a monastery near the site where people would come from all over the area and listen to the great man who'd already converted so many wild and untamed savages. And it's an interesting one to visit today. Although not much happens here usually, it's just full of tourists. The small town founded by St Finbarr soon grew up to be a thriving, a bustling port. But it wasn't long before other people got to hear about this. Fierce raiders from the north. Vikings. The Viking raiders targeted the populous and wealthy brotherhood of monks, which had grown since Finbarr's time, to be one of the most influential influences in all Ireland. It's difficult for us now to appreciate quite how high a percentage of Ireland's population at this time were actually monks. So, what attracted people to the monastic life?
They came here for the tranquility, the beautiful surroundings, peace, the quiet, beautiful walks, the stream. They soon got very bored with all this walking and the tranquility, and they started making beer and whiskey and lots of different types of alcohol, and they got very, very drunk. And they used to just head off to the nunnery every Saturday night for just a quick night out with the local nuns like Sister Frances and Sister Colette, and then they'd also head in up to Inchigeela for a good nightclub and a bit of a boogie.
So what gives Irish whiskey its distinctive flavour?
Those worms.
The worms? Are you sure about that? There's worms in it. I'm not drinking that. It's horrible. Take it away.
The Vikings were fierce invaders, and they tore the Franciscan friars apart. Even today, this old Franciscan abbey is full of the graves of the people that the Vikings murdered. But the Vikings soon got bored of that kind of marauding lifestyle. They started taking advantage of the tranquility and peace that Ireland has to offer, and settled down to a life of austerity and peace. In fact, the monks and the Vikings were very different to the stereotypes in which they're usually portrayed.
By the 10th century, the original Viking settlers had calmed down a lot, but there was still a fierce competition between the descendants of the Vikings and the monks for the right to fish for the famous salmon that live in the River Lee in Cork. Cork at this time was ruled by King Brian O'Brien, a very wise man, and he decided that the only fair way to settle the issue of fishing rights would be for the monks and the Vikings to hold a bell-ringing competition in this famous church in Shandon.
The Vikings chose a traditional Scandinavian melody to play in the contest. They were represented by Halfdan Grimsbeard, who is called the Herring Slayer of Oslo. He is well known for his fish-killing feats amongst the Vikings. He played a tune called the Melodious Hammer, which is named after the Viking hammer of Thor. It is recorded that the judges felt that although Halfdan's grasp of the melody was excellent, his emotional conveyance of the state of the god of war as he prepared for battle was inadequate. But nonetheless, it was a difficult challenge for the Irish monks. They chose Brother Leonard from among their ranks to play a beautiful melody composed by Saint Finbar himself. It is named after the beast and the stretch of water in which the beast lived. It is called the Frolicking Monster. The verdict of the judges was that though they were not terrified by Brother Leonard's portrayal of the terrible monster, his technique was excellent, and so in the end victory was awarded to the Irish monks.
So, the monks had won, and to celebrate their victory, they erected a giant salmon on the steeple of the church in Shandon. Of course, this didn't actually stop the Vikings fishing in the river. They just had to get their hair cut and learn to drink Guinness.